Welcome to Ro Talks Race, a series of videos with me, Ro, walking the hills of Pennsylvania, thinking and talking about race and racism. Today I'm in Lebanon County, exploring Governor Dick, a county park neighboring state game land near the borough of Mount Gretna. Most visitors like to hike up to an observation tower, so that is where I will be going today. It is November and I am not wearing orange, so I'll be careful to stay off the state game land and on the trails. Today's topic is colorblind racism, and so I'll be talking about why taking a colorblind approach to race seems to come so naturally to white people and why this is a major problem. Let's start with a scenario. Consider this exchange between a white guy and a black guy. The white guy announces, "I'm colorblind. I don't see race." This particular black guy replies, "Oh really? You don't know I'm black?" Our white guy explains, "Well, of course I can see that you are black. What I mean is that when I'm interacting with you, choosing how to treat you, I won't take your race into consideration. Race, after all, shouldn't matter." Okay, let's stop there. The white guy sounds pretty confident and probably thinks he has good intentions. But the black guy? He may be very turned off and even debating whether he wants to continue this conversation. This huge disconnect occurred very quickly. Let's imagine where the white guy's perspective may have come from. Starting with the present, his work world. There are some widely accepted beliefs regarding employment that seem to support his ideas. After all, if you're an employer interviewing for a position, the candidate's qualifications should be the deciding factor. If you are a landlord deciding whether to rent a house to a couple, their race should not factor into your decision. To really understand him, though, we have to go back to his childhood. I'm here at the tower. I'm going to climb that while you watch this. White people in the U.S., at least in predominantly white communities like mine, are taught some specific ideas that form the foundation for how we understand and approach race. One, a very narrow definition of racism, mainly that it consists of deliberate acts of hate, like slurs or violence. And two, for the most part, race hate and racial inequality are behind us. These ideas may not have appeared in textbooks or lesson plans. They were emphasized nonetheless. Actually, most of our race education was not explicit, but subtly implied. This means we came into adulthood believing truly racist acts are rare, and when they do occur, they will be obvious. And as a result, we are not actively looking for them. That alone explains a lot, but not everything. But we don't just miss opportunities to identify racism. We tend to discount race more generally. So what else happened? Perhaps a teacher put their arm around our shoulder and told us that everyone is the same. Perhaps in diverse crowds, we were worried about saying something offensive or foolish, and so we didn't talk about race at all. Perhaps people of color felt foreign to us, and to get past that, we pretended there were no differences. Each white person's path is slightly different, but the end result is that we form some powerful habits, primarily a habit of not being unable to see the race of others, but ignoring the implications of being a race other than white. Let's return to the examples from earlier. If you're an employer in a diverse community and see only white people working around your office, this is a sign that you should not have ignored the race of your applicants and need to re-examine your hiring practices. If you're a company managing home rentals and there's a pattern of charging a higher rent to residents of color or only advertising homes in certain neighborhoods to them, You need to be able to see this. However, if I'm a white person who has not pushed back against my colorblind upbringing, I will not. In conclusion, perhaps our white guy at the beginning was right. Race shouldn't matter. But here's the thing, it does matter. Look, acting blind to race does not do what we think it does. It does not, in fact, lead us to act neutral or fair. All it does is allow unfair systems in our society to go unchallenged, which harms people of color. Now, to do something about that, we white folks need to push back against our colorblind conditioning. And to do that, we need to be talking about race and racism. And to thoroughly disrupt that system, that talking needs to include our children. Okay, my time here, Governor Dick, is almost over. But before I let you go, I wanted to give you one last interesting piece of information that I learned about this place. So a lot of people, including some locals, think that the park is named for Governor Dick Thornburgh, who was a governor in Pennsylvania back in the 1980s, but it actually wasn't. There was a slave or former slave back in the 1800s named Dick, who worked here as a woodcutter and a charcoal burner, and it is actually named for him. Thank you for watching. Hit subscribe, and I hope to be talking to you again soon.